Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 4,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 110 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Don't you want to sound rich?
Welcome to episode 26 of your favorite podcast about all things elite. Welcome to All Things Elite. I'm your host, Floyd Johnson, and with me today is my good friend, All Elite Tiffany. How you doing today, Tiffany?
I am great. How are you?
I am well. As it seems like every week we start with amazing news. I did my show notes. I've been doing them through the week, so I would be better at getting all the notes that came out. So I was like, oh, big story of the week. And I was like, and we'll talk about this later. I was going to start with Brandi's promo. I was like, man, that was crazy. It kind of blew everything out the water. So we talked and said we were going to record today at 3:30. And I was like, well, the tickets will go on sale, which would be cool. I was like, that'll be cool to talk about. We can talk about how many tickets sold or whatever. But I was like, I went to the movie, went to see The Boys, The Good Boys, that new Seth Rogen movie. And I laughed. It was hilarious. Everyone should go see it if you like raunchy comedy. If you do not like raunchy comedy, do not see it. And also, if you care about what your children see, keep them as far away from this movie as possible. Man, it was raunchy. I went to see the movie. I come out, and, I got some alerts on my phone. I'm like, okay. So, and it didn't even cross my mind. So, first thing I'll pull up is the graphic from AEW. And it shows Philly on one side, Boston on the other, and them SOBs did it again. Double
in the same day.
Double sellout. And so the Wednesday, October 9th in Boston and Wednesday, October 16th in Philadelphia sold out both buildings. And from what I can tell, all reports, it was less than an hour. So what was it? It was I think one was supposed to hold like 7,000 and the other something like that. I didn't see the actual numbers but they both sold out. So again, in another week, they sold another over 10,000 tickets to their events. It was like I'm sitting there and I'm trying to write a tweet, like when I first saw it, and I was just like, I don't have words, because it's not that I doubted them. It's not really that I doubted them. I was just like, I started falling into that same line of thinking, well, they picked holiday weekends. Well, they did the StarCast thing around it. They do the meet and greets. But this is a Wednesday in the middle of the week.
Yeah, and with DC, you have the fact that it's the very first one. But these are now is not the first one, and so that even with DC, we knew it would sell out eventually. We didn't know it was going to happen as soon as it did. Right, that very first day, within the first couple hours, and like you said last time, like more due to server issues, or it would have probably sold out within less than an hour for the DC show. But that also made sense because, like you said, Double or Nothing holiday weekend. All Out holiday weekend, you've got StarCast, and then of course DC is the very first ever AEW on TNT, so of course the demand to be there is so high. But here we are again, 2 events go on sale at the same day, less than an hour, and they're both sold out. I mean, it's unreal.
Yeah, it's absolutely unreal. Because, they're kind of in the same area. I know these are hugely densely populated areas, but they're kind of the same area. So you like Washington, sure. D.C., Philly, they're only 2.5 hours away. You're just like, yeah, okay. Well, all the people that are going to go, I don't think a lot of people are going to fly to Philadelphia. Me and you had decided we're going to stay at home and, watch the show. You know,
be like real regular people and just watch it at home.
Or watch it at home respectively because traveling gets expensive. So I was like, again, I figured they would sell a lot of tickets. I am not saying I didn't think they would sell a lot of tickets. I thought they would probably both be about 80% sold, or one sold out and one night quite sold out.
I think you make a really good point about the fact that you and I are two perfect examples of people who go and travel very often to see AEW, and we're not going to these because at some point you have to draw the line and save some money and take some time off. So I think a lot of people with Double or Nothing, All Out, and then that first DC show, I think a lot of the fans that will consistently travel to see AEW probably had to stop there too, with the holidays coming up and with a lot of, just the consistency of travel starts to add up, which makes me believe that is genuinely those sellouts for those cities are not so much flying, which to me is huge because, obviously with the Double or Nothing and All Out selling out as quickly as they did, and even DC, you had a lot of people probably flying in for those, but that just shows that it has nothing to do with people going from all over the world. Not to say there won't be people traveling, of course there will, but I think it'll be a lesser percentage for those TV ones moving forward, especially because it's going to be weekly, so that the urgency to travel to see it will be lessened. And yet here we are with more sellouts. So it's just absolutely incredible. And I know Matt and Nick, they always seem to be the ones that are just like, this is never going to feel real, and this is never going to get old. And I think we're all in the same boat. We're just not that, it's not a case of doubt. It's just in awe of realizing, I think, that that so many people feel the way we feel about AEW. It's starting to actually sink in how big this really is.
Absolutely. Forbes, within 2 hours, Forbes has an article out about this. Wow. This is not like, oh my God, AEW's just kind of tooting their own horn. These are major companies that, money means a big deal to, saying, you know what, this is a hot product. This is something people want to see. And it's just, I'm happy. I'm ecstatic. But like I said, they're even blowing my expectations out the water. If I would have said, if I came in 2 months ago and said, they're going to announce their first 3 TV weeks, and they're going to sell out every one of them. Most people would be like, you like a homer. You're just an AEW shill. But every week they keep doing it, and it's just like it stops at some point. It stops being a shill, and it's just you're just stating facts.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like, I've heard WWE's canceling house shows. Of course, I am like, that's apples and oranges. This is new. This is exciting. People like when you look with any other product, you kind of know what you're going to get. And this product, so new, you really don't know what you're going to get except good shows. You know what I mean? So everybody wants to be probably, hey, I was at that show. Don't get me wrong. That runs through my veins that I was at that show. It was like, if there was any way I could go to every one of these shows, I would. But
100%.
Yes, but we don't have to. They're okay. You know what? It was like that because it's that gut feeling. I don't know how you feel, but believe me, it doesn't make me think I'm a bigger influence or anything. But it's like we're the flying fans, so it's like, are they going to be able to do it without us? You know what I mean?
Yes, I know, and it's more of a loyalty thing too. It's not like I'm doubting them, but we've been there for everything, so it's hard to imagine. And then you still get a sellout, and I wasn't even trying to get tickets today, and that was also, I have to say, kind of a nice feeling to not be stressed out about that. But yeah, I mean, this is, like I said, it's really starting to sink in how huge this is because, for us, we're so into this and have been now for a while. But, I mean, I think it's starting to, before even TV has started, to, like, gain a sort of a trend, and that's incredible.
Yeah, it's like, I know that first week TV number is going to be high. There's no doubt in my mind. It used to be like, I don't know, maybe if they advertise enough. Now I know that first week TV number is going to be high. I know people are going to tune in that first week, and if they can, I know they will, but if they can knock it out of the park and get people to tune in the second week and the third week, that's what it's going to be. But it's just like, yeah, I don't know if Tony Khan could have even imagined this.
No, I don't think I think as much as they all knew, they were confident in the talent they had and the minds put together to create something special. Like, I mean, I don't think anybody could have dreamed this as going as perfectly as it has. I mean, and I couldn't be, like you said, just more ecstatic over it. Because the more success they have, the more we get from content and shows and just everything. So it's win-win for everybody.
Yeah, I just want to, I do want to say, I think it does go to show you, if on these shows, when you're doing shows every week, it's important to make your tickets affordable. Like, first row,
huge.
$90, in the back, $20. That's smart. And I just think, definitely, there are things that can be learned from this going forward for anyone. Just make your tickets affordable. You're going to be doing a weekly show. No one wants to shell out $500 for a weekly show.
No, definitely not, and not even a pay-per-view at that. I mean, not that it wouldn't be worth it. Obviously for AEW, it's a top dollar, but it's smart. Like you said, this is a weekly show. People cannot afford to just drop $500, for the most expensive ticket. 90 is unheard of, and that's just awesome. And then, like you said, 20 is the cheapest ticket. I mean, there's a price range for everybody, which is so special to have that availability to fans because everyone should be able to go. And it just kind of stems from, everything that AEW has done has been AEW's for everyone. And that goes as far as their fans who may not have a ton of money. And I think that's really huge, and it's very important. And I think, like you said, there's a lot to learn maybe for other companies that might want to take some notes.
Yeah, I will use this as an example. This is just real numbers. I used to go to every WWE show that came anywhere near Oklahoma City, and I have no problem. And I love WWE, but one time there was, I think it was Saturday, July 27th. There was a house show here, and it was like, oh, you can get in for $10, right? So you charge $10 to get in, and I think it was a $27 fees and taxes when they were done.
Oh my
so
God.
The fees and taxes were more than the ticket. And a friend of mine was like, I'm not going. I am not paying that much in fees and taxes to go to that event. And I don't know how many people they sold. I never asked, never cared. The event came and went, but it was just like, yeah. When I see a $10 ticket, okay, I understand. I might, after taxes and fees, have to pay $17, but the taxes and fees shouldn't be more than my ticket. I even noticed on these AEW tickets when we bought tickets last week or whatever, the taxes and fees are normalized, when you buy them from Sears Center or whatever. So when I've heard other companies say, "Oh, that's just Ticketmaster," I think you got a little control over it. I think you got a little bit.
There's definitely some sort of convenience fee or event fee that they're getting that money elsewhere. So a $10 ticket costing you more than double should not be the case. Someone's getting that money somewhere.
Exactly, and it's just, I don't know, just the prices. Of course they are choosing major cities. Don't get me wrong; they are choosing huge cities. They're not selling out. They're not selling out Tulsa, Oklahoma right now. But just think, this is where it starts. I mean, this is how Raw started. This is how Nitro started. They picked, big cities. They picked cities where people would come watch wrestling, and I am very happy for that. But yes, definitely 3 weeks in a row, first 3 weeks sold out, absolutely. Like, of course, they might do production releases or whatever, but they're sold out as far as that considered. They have announced on AEW or All Elite Wrestling Twitter that on Monday at 11 o'clock, which is their time, at noon Eastern, they are going to announce where City 4 and 5 are and the ticket on sale dates. And I'm really excited, and of course want AEW to come close to us, but I keep wanting my cities, or the cities closer to me, to be a little further away so I can kind of build up the bank account so I can buy tickets.
I agree. I was thinking, I replied saying Kansas City, and then after I replied, I'm like thinking, well, maybe let's give us a little time. Like, we need to refresh things, but obviously if they come, we're gonna go. But yeah, after the new year, I'd be down for that.
Yes, exactly. It's like, hey, you want to give me the November, December? I'd be cool, but I don't mind.
Exactly.
I don't mind waiting a little bit because, like I said, you got to kind of replenish the bank accounts. But
definitely, and I was thinking about too with everything about the sellouts, and that they're doing everything right with not just the cities they're booking, but like we said, just I think another thing to mention is that I just absolutely love that they're not doing house shows, because you mentioned WWE canceling house shows, and I think that when you have too much of something, it's also not a good thing in so many ways. And once a week, not only is it good on the wrestlers because their bodies are not going to be just so beaten up from wrestling every night, and then the extra travel and just lack of sleep, so many things for like health and mental reasons. It's so important to not bombard them with a schedule like that. But on top of it, once a week, you're not making the fans try to spend so much money to be at so many things. And then on top of it, they're helping their fans by not charging an arm and a leg for tickets. So I just think the once a week TV is just perfect. And, I don't know, I just really love everything that they're doing. Is just, they seem to be just making all the right moves going into TV.
Absolutely. I wish I could agree or say it better than that. It's just, it seems like every move they make, of course they say they treat themselves like the startup company, but it's like the startup company that has this amazing product that everybody wants, and they're making the right moves with it. Because some companies come out and they're like, okay, they sell out that one city. They're like, okay, next week we're going to announce 10 cities or 5 cities. No, we're just going to give you 2. The next time, okay, we're just
kind of make you wait for it.
So you get 2 sell out, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, excited." Well, then another company would be like any other company, probably like, if it was me, I would get more aggressive. Well, we're going to do 5 cities next time. They're like, nope, we're playing it cool. Just 2 more cities. I just think that is, like I said, for me, they have a plan. Of course, Tony Khan, the business person, they hired the best people. They have a plan. They are executing that plan. And this is, I even saying, I'm giving this more to the organizers in the background, the people that are looking at pricing trends, where fans are, what buildings they can pick. The people you will never hear about. I'm giving them a shout out because they are picking the right cities. They are picking the right times for tickets to go on sale. They are doing everything right. They are being patient. Like I said, they had a game plan, and it is executing it perfectly. I don't think anyone can find a flaw without like being super nitpicky, a flaw in their actual business strategy. I'm not talking about the programming, the work, and all this stuff, which I love. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the business strategy that they're doing, that they're executing. I mean, the AEW shirts, you look on Pro Wrestling Tees, and their top 10 shirts, half are AEW. They're selling out buildings. They're selling out hotels. I mean, good Lord, we're going to Chicago, and putting in rooms everywhere, and it's just, the business plan is just perfect right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they're giving credit to all their people. They're bringing everybody with them, and I love it. And it's like, it's Renegade, but it's professionally done. It's like it has this Renegade feel, but there's some really smart people behind the success of this company.
Absolutely. I mean, we can't say it enough. Like you said, they're just, you can't find a flaw in it unless you're really trying. And when I mean by trying, you're being nitpicky or just want to be negative. But if you're just being realistic, whether you want AEW to succeed or not, whether you're a fan or not, whether you like Cody or Brandi or the Bucks, it doesn't matter. You can't deny that they are doing everything right. Since January, they have slow-paced this build and made it work, and you can't deny it because the proof is in the numbers. The 3 sellouts in a row for TV. I mean, right there alone, the sellout for Double or Nothing, the sellout for All Out. I mean, the numbers don't lie. So they're making all the right moves, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon.
Yes, yeah, and yes, I completely agree. Like I said, bid and ah. So I will ask you, Miss Tiffany, one of the experts on the Elite, where do you think the 2 cities, 4 and 5, are going to be? First of all, let me broader question. Do you think they're going to stay on the East Coast for 4 and 5?
I don't. I think they're going to finally surprise us and go out west.
Do you think they're going to go out west for 4 and 5? Okay.
I do. I really do.
So you think Los Angeles, or do you think...
I could see LA, maybe Northern and Southern California, maybe something along those lines. I just feel like they've done everything, they haven't really done much in the West Coast. Besides that, we did have, of course, Double or Nothing, but we've had, we have the DC, Boston, Philly, and I feel like, we've got SoCal Uncensored, we've got the Bucks, we've got a strong presence from Southern California and California in general in AEW. So I think they're going to shock us and move to the other side of the country for the next 2.
That would be so awesome. That would be awesome. I would definitely be all about it. If I had to take, I was sitting here thinking of my cities. And I saw someone on our page. Someone on our page said he was hoping that they rumored Baltimore, and I was like, Baltimore and DC, kind of. I know people that are Redskins.
So
yeah, people that are Redskins fans and Ravens fans will kill me, but I'm like, isn't that like kind of the same city? And it'll be
very close.
Yeah, it's like when people like, oh, they're doing Oklahoma City and Dallas when they do a routine. I'm like, you don't really need to do both, because everybody in Oklahoma City is going to go to Dallas if they want to see the show.
Yeah.
So you probably should pick one. I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna doubt it. I imagine if they do Baltimore, it would kill. Cause Philly's close to Baltimore and DC's close to Baltimore. So I don't know. That it just feels like it would be all in the same area. I think, of course, they're gonna hit Florida up soon. I think that's gonna be. I have it like when it gets close to winter, and they don't want to be in freezing cold. They'll probably do their Florida swing. But I think one of the cities will be New York. I'm thinking that's week 4. I think week 4 will be New York. It's just too big of a market not to hit up before, and then I think they go west.
Go west.
Yeah, I think San Diego is my.
Do you think that it'll be New York and San Diego for the next two, like where they're going to have one on one side on the east and one on the west?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, wow.
I think New York will be the last one in October, because I believe that'll be the last It'll be because they what is it, 9th and okay, so they still got the 23rd and the 30th. So I think that's what they're gonna do. Well, now that I think out loud, regions. I think they're gonna do regional each month. So I think this will be the East Coast month. So I think it will be.
Okay.
I think it'll be another city on the East. I don't know what city it will be. Possibly Baltimore, but I think they're going to end.
New York.
Yeah, I think they're going to end the month in New York.
I feel like New York. I mean, that's got to be coming for sure. And I guess it would make sense to kind of, like you said, regionally do those shows, knock those out, and then maybe move to the west side of country and see what go from there. They've got to get California representation, but maybe if, like you said, they figure, hey, November starts to get cold, maybe we'll move there for that and have some nicer weather. So that's possible. I could definitely see that.
It even said I could see doing, and I know they're not going to do this. This is just me, just because of how big it is and how hot of a wrestling town it is. I could see doing 2 weeks in New York. I could.
Honestly, I could totally see that.
Because they would both sell out. It wouldn't be any
100%.
question. Yeah, especially if they pick, of course, they're a smaller arena, Hammerstein or something like that. I don't know what they're. I
think they're going to do MSG. I'm going to throw it out there. I 100% think when they run New York, they're going to run Madison Square Garden.
Good Lord, and I wanted Madison. I really did want Madison Square Garden to be there. Like when they start TV and then they do a pay-per-view, I was hoping MSG would wait till the pay-per-view because.
Well, that would be pretty epic too.
Because that would be because honestly, it was like it's for me. I really do. I'm like I watched two wrestling shows in MSG, WrestleMania 20, of course, and then I was at the G1 Supercard of Honor. And I was
also at WrestleMania 20. That's crazy.
Yes. And then and those are the only two shows I've ever watched in Madison Square Garden, and it is just a different feeling. I tell anybody, I'm like, the Garden has a different feeling. So I was like, I was hoping they saved that for a pay-per-view, but it would sell out of Monday. It would sell out a Wednesday show easily. It would. I have no doubt in my mind now. Now, if you would have asked me a month ago, I was like, it might. On a Wednesday.
Maybe not that first day within less than an hour, but now I'm thinking it'll sell out within a half hour.
Yes. It's kind of, like I said, this is resetting expectations for even the biggest fans. Even the biggest AEW cheerleaders that I know that never think they do anything wrong. They're blowing out their expectations also.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it's just like, I am very much an AEW cheerleader. I wouldn't do this show if I didn't, because I don't do shows about stuff I don't like. So as a cheerleader, as someone that is wishing massive amounts of success on the company, they're blowing my expectations out of the water. Like out of my mind. I don't even know how to react half the time. And a person that is very rarely at a loss for words, they keep making me speechless.
That says it all right there.
So So if I had to go, my guess, I'm gonna go New York, and I don't know what else is over there. Everything, I guess, Baltimore. I don't know. That's just because I'm running out of cities. Maybe Pittsburgh. New York and Pittsburgh. That's where I'm going.
Okay. I'll stick with my guess, but you kind of convinced me of it staying over in the East Coast. But we'll see. I want to throw out there another city, and it's not necessarily a prediction, but just one that kind of like our hometowns. I hope it kind of waits a little bit to go, because when it does go there, I really want to be there, and that's Atlanta. I want to be there for Cody's homecoming. On TV, 100%. That's one I just want to be there so badly for.
It would have to be like literally the most inconvenient day possible for me not be in Atlanta. Yeah.
That's just a must.
Yes, that's a must. I mean, that's the homecoming. everything. Atlanta would, yeah. I mean, anyone else?
That's going to be so special.
Yes, anybody that has been following the Rhodes family, that love WCW, that love Southern wrestling, Atlanta is basically the New York of the South. It is the Mecca. It's like you go there, you go to Atlanta, and it's like, man, that would be crazy. I definitely want to be in that one. I was just.
Let's hope that was a little bit further down the road.
Yes, that's what I'm like. Again, I think pay-per-view cities. I think Atlanta would be a great pay-per-view city.
Yes, definitely a great pay-per-view city.
100%. Yeah. So it's just like, so we'll see what they do. Again, they have the guys back there with the calculators and the graphs and the computer programs telling them where the fans are and where the fans will go. They will pick the right two cities. I know I know without a shadow of a doubt they're going to pick the right two cities and they're going to kill it again.
Yes.
Well, we kind of discussed. We're going to let you in on some production. What I realized is through doing this show, we start off with the big news of the week, but what I realized is most of the other news from the week, we do get a lot of stuff on Twitter, but they mostly go through Being the Elite, the Road to All Out. Those series gives us a lot of news. So we're actually going to pretty much start the show, start our actual going through the news part with our recaps. But before we do this, I would like to remind you that this episode of All Things Elite is brought to you by Power Slam TV. Power Slam TV, where you get access to over 4,000 hours of content from over 110 of your favorite wrestling brands from countries all around the globe, right onto your laptop and mobile device. If you use the code Social Suplex, you get the first month free. So definitely sign up for Power Slam TV. Didn't mean that to rhyme, but hey, whatever.
It worked.
Yeah, it worked. So BTE recap. This was Farewell to Independent Wrestling. This was BTE episode 165. I think you've watched it a couple times, right, Tiffany?
I did, yeah.
Yes. So what? We're not just gonna go. What do you remember from the episode? What was your favorite parts of the episode?
Well, what I remember, first of all, is learning that Cody is a pickpocket. That was a little bit disheartening. Did not realize that the guy that I, adore most in pro wrestling is a pickpocket, but we saw him pickpocket Rick Knox when he when he got the ref bump. Just a short segment to open it up, but it really made me laugh. I thought it was great.
I want that AEW rug in my house.
I know, right?
Dude, that was awesome.
I was glad that Cody had a small part in it because I knew with it being that House of Glory show that the focus, rightfully so, is going to be on the Bucks and their last indie show, presumably for forever. I mean, the plan is for AEW to be here moving forward and not going anywhere. So if everything goes as it's been going and as we hope it goes and as they hope it goes, we're not going to see the Bucks on the independents anymore. And it's really special to me because you have Cody's path and the Bucks' path, and they're so different on how they got here. Cody started in the big company, left the big company, went to the indies, and now he has a big company. And the Bucks, they were the ones that started in the independents and clawed and scratched their way and just, made their name completely on their own. And both, I respect and absolutely love both paths. But for the Bucks, I can't imagine the feelings for going and doing this event at House of Glory and having that last moment of that small building and knowing that they're moving on to something so much bigger and probably better in a way, but still leaving something behind that is why they are who they are to this day. So I really love just getting that last kind of road diary from them going into independence at the airport, just doing their vlog, how they did it, and seeing them with the fans and just, having met them, and I know you've met them, and just, just getting to experience the amazing people that they are and seeing them interact with the fans and recognize people and just, because they have sort of, all of them have built this family with their fans, but to see the Bucks, since this was their thing, to document their journey, to get to see that again was really special and pretty emotional, honestly. So it just made me happy to see it. And I'm glad that they dedicated that episode to that, pretty much solely to their House of Glory, event and everything. So I really enjoyed that.
Yes, the theme of this week, if you had to look at a theme between the three shows, and this is from me watching them a few times, it seems to be like being grateful for where they've been and how they got to where they are. It's not
definitely.
not as much looking forward as in on every show, you're kind of looking back. And you're kind of looking back to where you got. You got a little looking forward, but you mostly got a lot of looking back. And in this case, the Bucks are on they're on the phones, they're recording each other, and they did talk about their new Jordans that they got, which were nice. They were nice. I'm not a big shoe guy, but I do appreciate a nice pair of shoes. And yeah, those are really nice shoes, and they were. And you just see it. Like I said, I've watched Being the Elite when someone introduced me to the show, because I think they were like 80 or something episodes in before I got introduced to the show. Like it was like when Cody joined or whatever, and it was like
same here. Yeah,
it was nothing that I'd ever seen before. It was just like it was pretty raw, and it was like at some points, they would do skits and stuff and be funny, but it was pretty raw. Then we see them with, I guess they're with Paige and they're recording something, which they're doing it. They were looking at the room service, of course, and they were ordering their grilled chicken. That was kind of a callback to last week. But you see Paige in a room with a bunch of people, and I guess they're recording something to get ready as we get closer to All Out. He said it's a secret. It's like the worst secret ever, but it's a secret. I love how they do their secrets. When they really, really want it to be secret, they do keep it no matter what. But it's like I love Cody is the one that can't keep one. He just wants to let everybody know everything. It's hilarious.
Oh God, he has the biggest mouth. Yeah.
Yes, it's hilarious. So they're outside a Hog in their car, and it's raining, and they had just got spray tans, and they were afraid that like orange was going to be everywhere. I thought that was funny as a person that does not need to tan whatsoever. I was like, I don't know what that's like, but it was like, I've always wondered that, what do people do, like that? Because I didn't know how permanent those things are, and it rains, and I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. Have you ever got a spray tan?
I have not.
Yes, I don't think most, no insult to anyone. I don't think most normal people do. I mean, they have a business where they're under bright lights and stuff all the time, so I get why they do it, but I don't think most people do. So, so they did that, and then we get the first big piece of news from the show. We get a guy rolling up in a jean jacket. He throws orange in a blender. Then he throws a contract in the blender and blends it up, and then pours that in the drink. Then he hangs sunglasses on it, and it says, "Now serving freshly squeezed orange Cassidy." Now, this has been a very polarizing topic this week. What do you think about the signing of Orange Cassidy?
I definitely think it seems to be controversial because I don't think a lot of people get him. I'm not going to lie. I'm not familiar with him. After they signed him, I went and watched a match. I just Googled him and looked for a match to watch. And I'm still not sure. I'm not against it at all. I think he has a lot to offer. I think I just haven't had enough exposure, so I'm excited to see what he does. I think that, wrestling is variety, and I think he's talented, and I think if everyone was the same, it would be a very boring show. So I think the people who are negative about it need to just chill out, and if you're not familiar with him, give him a chance and see what he does. But personally, I can't say I'm familiar with him because I genuinely haven't seen much from him other than I know he was in the Battle Royal, and then other than that, just what I Googled or, YouTube and watched it. But although, no matter what, I'm for it, because just because I'm not familiar with him doesn't mean it's not going to be good. So I kind of like the idea of it being somebody that I haven't previously had much experience with. So it's kind of exciting to see what he does, what he's all about. I'm probably not going to Google too much more because I would like to go into it fresh and just, for myself, not have a previous knowledge of every single person that AEW signed. So as someone who's not familiar with him, I'm excited for it.
Yes, and you people have heard from the show that is a common thought process for us. It's be like, because I will tell anyone, you can go any wrestler that has been hot or fresh, you can go watch a significant amount of these matches, and you can get bored with him before he starts, or you can wait. I saw Orange Cassidy first time. It was the WrestleCon Super Show. I had never seen his gimmick, didn't know who he was, and he came out in his jean jacket, and he had his sunglasses on, and he's walking slow, and like he doesn't have anywhere to be, and then he gets in the ring, and he's throwing these really soft, the blows, and the crowd's getting into it like, whoa, like you're gonna kill him, and it's very much an ironic wrestling character. He is very much an ironic wrestling character, and it was just like the thing he did that night. And I don't know if he does this every time, because again, I've only seen him 2 times. If you knock off his sunglasses, it's almost like a reverse Festus. If everybody remembers Festus, it's like as long as he has his sunglasses on, he's cool.
That's pretty hilarious.
Yes, he throws his soft punches, soft kicks. He doesn't care. But if you knock his sunglasses off, that's when you get wild and crazy Orange Cassidy, who starts bringing it. And it was crazy. It was something I had never seen, and I was like, "Wow, I can't believe someone hasn't thought of this." I was like, "This is really, really cool." Then they announced him for the Battle Royal, the Casino Royale, and he came out, and he did the walk cool and did the soft shots, but at some point his sunglasses came off, but he didn't go crazy. So I didn't know if that since I've only seen him wrestle twice, I don't know which one. I don't know which one is the gimmick. You know what I mean? I don't know. Was the WrestleCon Super Show how he acts, or was that? So again, I will be learning along with everyone on how good this guy is. I've seen that he's an excellent wrestler. He just, again, your job, especially when you're an indie person, is to get booked. That's your job. Your job is to get booked and make as much money as possible so you can be seen and continue living your dreams. He found a gimmick that got him booked. I'm not going to get mad at that.
Apart from other people, and that's what it's all about. And like I said, there's all kinds of wrestling, and you have to have comedy in wrestling. If you're not there to be entertained, like to some degree, if he's a good wrestler and he has a gimmick like that just kind of like puts him and sets him apart, but then you're waiting for that moment where he gets unglued, whether it's the sunglasses coming off or however it is, I'm all for it. I think everyone should offer something a little different. Doesn't take away from the fact that he's an athlete and he's a great wrestler. As far as I've seen in the match I saw, once he got going, I didn't really notice the sunglasses thing. I kind of want to go back and see if that happened in that match, because I did notice as it went on, he did get going, but it didn't put it together, because that was the only time I'd watched a match of his. But either way, like you said, your job is to get booked as an independent wrestler, and this is someone who people are talking about. People are like, hey, this is a great get for AEW. And maybe I'm not, like I said, super familiar with all he has to offer, but the fact that a lot of people, and the people that are, as Cody said, he said in an interview recently that his goal is to please the AEW fans, not to try to please everybody, because we're the ones that are getting, all these sellout things are happening because they have a huge fan base. And it's just still kind of lost on me how huge it is, because it's just gotten so big already, and they haven't even hit TV yet. But so many people, despite there being some negative responses, I think a lot of the negative responses are from the people that are already against AEW, or not to be mean, but huge WWE fans who just refuse to understand a lot of what goes on in independent wrestling and how good it is. So,
he just talked about Orange, he actually, somebody directly messaged him about, like, Orange Cassidy. And, of course, unfortunately, I love Cody, but one of his things is, if you get on a message and tell Cody how much you love him, it probably won't get liked or retweeted. But if you come at him, yeah, he cannot scroll past that.
He will definitely defend his stance on something.
Yes, so it's I loved. He had this one statement where and it actually inspired one of my tweets. He's like, casuals, when he was talking about passionate fans, he's like, casual fan is not this metric that you can measure on a casual fan. We're gonna please our passionate fans, and then we're gonna please our passionate fans, and hope other people come along. And I put out a tweet, and I was like, "There's no such thing as a casual fan. It's just." And of course I've been corrected. Words lose meaning over time, blah, blah, blah. I know this. But if you think about the word fan and what it means, it is literally just a shortened version of fanatic. They mean the same thing. It's just shortened because people get lazy and want an easier way. How are you casually fanatical about something?
Kind of an oxymoron.
Yes. No. The fact is, to be a fan, you're not casual about it. You're passionate about it. Your blood, you travel, you drive freaking 14 to 16 hours. You make plans, you borrow money, you do whatever you have to do to get there. You're fanatical. Or if you can't afford to get there, you're at home watching it and you don't have your cell phone out or whatever. You're doing it at above normal pace. I can't tell you how to fan. I am not here to tell anyone how to be a fan. But it's just saying it has to be abnormal to be a fan. You can't. Normal is you're like, hey, you're a watcher. Hey, I watch AEW. I even say this to me, for people that play video games. I always say this to me. I'll be talking about how I'm playing Madden, and people will be like, Floyd, are you a gamer? No, I play video games. There is a marked difference between someone who's played video games and a guy that's a gamer. Gamers are playing all the time. They are passionate about it. I play when I have spare time. So I play video games. I am not a gamer. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean. I feel like it's like you can watch sports or you can be a fan. You know what I mean? There's a difference.
Yeah, you could be a casual watcher, but if you're a fan, you're claiming you're a fan, then you're a fan. You're not casual.
Yes. It's the difference between a person that's read Harry Potter books and Potterheads.
Yes,
to use an older reference, there's a difference between people that have seen Twilight movies and Twihards. Whatever your fan base's nickname is, there's a difference between people that have seen it and watch it and the passionate people. And it's just like there's a difference between being an AEW fan and someone that watches or supports AEW. It's just, like I said, there is not a hierarchy. I don't think any less of you. It's just when you try to jump on my fan wagon, I might push you off. If you're like, oh yeah, I love AEW. Have you watched any of the shows? Yeah, I kind of watched a couple clips from Double or Nothing. You're not a fan.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I saw a person, I don't even follow the person on Twitter, but someone that I do follow posted a picture of Scorpio Sky, and the person replied and was like, who is that? And they literally had in their display name, it was like their name and then something like AEW, like Die Hard or something like that. And I just paused and went, you don't know who Scorpio Sky is yet.
Yeah.
You've got AEW, not in your handle, but in your display name. And I just kind of shook my head and kept scrolling, but it made me pause and just go, Earth to you, you're clearly not.
Yes.
Something's missing here. There is a disconnect here.
Yes, and I believe this show is for all levels of AEW watcher. But I honestly think if you're listening to an AEW podcast, you probably lean towards fan.
Yeah, if you're taking the time to listen, then you're a fanatic. You're into it.
Yes, but hey, people that watch AEW that won't call themselves first a fan, hey, you're more than welcome to come on. I'm not being gatekeepery. I'm really not. No, I'm not going to be like, well, you didn't know Cody and Shawn Spears tagged up in OVW. No, I'm not that guy. I'm really not.
No, definitely not.
I am to hug you and bring you in, and I want to introduce you to the AEW family. But there's levels to this. There's levels.
Yeah, for sure.
There's levels, and we want to bring you along and help you get acquainted and be involved, and you'll understand when you part of the AEW family. Oh, dude, we got you.
Yeah, there's nothing like
there's no such thing as sold out. We will figure out a way to get you in.
Is the truth.
Yes, it just doesn't. The regular rules don't apply to you when you're in this family. We will figure it out. It's just like I even told a friend, he wanted to come to All Out, and he was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get there. I was like, just get there. You will make sure you get in. Not a week later. Somebody was like, "Hey, you want to? I got an AEW ticket. I need to get." And I was like, "Boom, bought." And I was like, "I told you." Just that's how this community works. And like I said, you are more than welcome to join. And I understand people have lives and they have significant others and kids. I happen to have a significant other that puts up with my bull crap. Well, thank God. So yes, I'm like, so she allows me to be a fan. But yeah, I know sometimes out there you have different responsibilities that doesn't allow you to watch every episode or be super hardcore or whatever. And I get that. And that's what we're for, because we're going to walk you through it. We're going to keep you caught up as much as possible. But like I said, let's say it's just, sometimes, there's different levels of things. And it's just like there are certain labels. Like, I don't like all labels, but there's certain labels that fit. And one that I'm actually passionate about is fan. And someone's like, you're a gatekeeper. I was like, I'm actually the keeper of all gates, because I don't like when anybody says they're a fan of something and they don't show a competent knowledge of it. I don't care what it is. It could be anything. It could be something I'm not a fan of. Like, I listen to music. I am not a big music fan. I'm really not. I very rarely go to concerts. I listen to podcasts more than anything. I like certain songs. I like certain people from all different genres, but I am not what you would call a music fan. I would never follow a tour around or anything like that. Not my thing. I know it sounds weird. They're like, you don't like music? No, I like music. I just don't love it. Tiffany, on the other hand, Our Lady Peace, she loves them, right?
I do.
Yes.
I would say I am an Our Lady Peace fanatic.
Exactly. And we're friends. I can know Our Lady Peace. I can have known some of their songs, but she can be a fanatic. I cannot be, and we can still be friends.
And
it doesn't. Yes, it's all good because everybody's singing. But if someone says like, "Dude, I love Our Lady Peace," and I'm like, "All right, cool," and they be talking and they be like, they don't know a certain song or something like that, I'm gonna be like, dude, you're not a fan.
At some point you just have to own what you know about it, and it's okay. No one's saying it's not okay, but just be real about what you like.
Yes, and believe me, there are bigger wrestling fans than me. There are. I know you people are like, it's hard to believe. I get burnt out on wrestling after a while. Like I was talking about on my other show this week, I was watching the G1. It was the G1 SummerSlam. I was watching my weekly WWE programming, and it was just like, everybody's like, well, are you watching, I forgot, some random show? I'm like, no, not at all. And they were like, why? I was like, I like other things other than wrestling. I know it's hard to believe, but I do.
There can even be too much wrestling.
Yes, I was like, I want to watch Veronica Mars. Yeah, I was like, that's what I want to watch this week. No, but I will tell anybody, there's different levels to this. There are bigger fans than me. Bigger fan. I don't know. I was like, I put you. I know you're a huge wrestling fan, but I think you're pretty much in that top 1% of Cody fans. So I don't know. I don't know. I have not met a bigger Cody fan than you.
I'm not going to deny it.
I do not know a bigger Cody fan than you, but like a period. But yeah,
Cody's words. He's called me number one for years. So
yes,
I can't go against what the man himself said.
Yeah, so. I was gonna say, if there's a bigger Cody fan out there, I don't know that person. Not saying they don't exist, but I don't know that person. But I'm moving on in the episode. I got off on the extreme tangent. Orange Cassidy. I didn't even actually pulled up a tweet of Cody said about he got a question. How do you justify the hiring of Orange Cassidy? And I had to kind of read that with a little attitude, because when you use the word justify, there's an attitude that goes along with that. How do you justify the hiring of Orange Cassidy when all of you, including Tony, stated multiple times in interviews that AEW would be treated seriously as a sports-based product? Cody's answer: easily, he's a great and fun pro wrestler. The show is 100% sports-based, but the competitors are vastly different in style and delivery. It actually...
What a great response.
Yeah. We actually got on one of the Road to All Out episodes, we had an interview with one of the teams, and they kind of addressed this in a way. It's like, they're fun. He entertains. Wrestling is an entertainment product. And, when the world title's on the line, when all the titles are on the line, the wrestlers are always going to be going to win, but they might be trying to be entertaining at the same time. You can be both. I mean, I've seen Kenny Omega, the best wrestler in the world, dress up as, was he Princess Peach? Who was he when he went Super Elite?
Oh, goodness. No, he wasn't Princess Peach.
That was Brandi.
Toadstool.
Yeah, it was Toadstool. And I saw them, and they put on a super entertaining match, dressed as people from Mario Kart. So it doesn't really matter how you deliver it. When you get to the best bout machine, he's going to try to put on the best match. Orange Cassidy will try to win his matches when he's in a wrestling match, because if he doesn't, then what's the point? And you don't know. You're going to get Orange Cassidy, but you have to think with every wrestler, there are different levels of wrestler. Cody was a comedic character for a while as Stardust. He's also Cody Rhodes' serious ROH and NWA champion. It's just like, you kind of got to wait and see how they present him before deciding on whether it goes against the overall theme of AEW. And they also have Michael Nakazawa on the roster, and he's comedy wrestler.
He is. And I think, too, one thing to think about with Orange Cassidy, which, again, we really can't make any judgments till we see him in a real match on TV, but is to think about the fact that it's also mind games. Wrestlers, when you can psych out your opponent, that's a way you can win a match. So it doesn't mean he's not a good athlete. It doesn't mean he doesn't get to the point in the match where he's going to put on a great match. But, it's psychology, it's strategy, and, it doesn't take away from the athleticism or the sports-centric based wrestling product that AEW wants to offer, just because you have someone who goes about their psychology and strategy, whatever, a different way to psych out their opponent.
Yeah. What they have said for a long time, that they want to present a buffet. They want to give you a lot of different things, and Orange Cassidy definitely fits into something different. Someone actually put out a Google Trends of unsigned wrestlers, and he was the highest on Google Trends.
And which is one of probably the main reasons they snagged him up.
Yeah, it's like, there you go.
He could have very well been at NXT in 2 weeks if they didn't. So
yes.
I just don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I love when, very easy. Cody, if you try to come at Cody, you better come correct. Because he'll have you looking really silly He did a couple times this week. I got that for later on.
He really did.
Yeah,
he really did.
Yes, it's like he'll have you looking silly, and it's like yeah, still don't do that. And then as we go through, so we get freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, and then we get Kenny. What was it? BTE mailbag. And Kenny was asked a question about costumes and would they do a Halloween themed episode, and he said he basically wasn't gonna. He would like to do something around Halloween to stay to hear Halloween. He didn't say full on Halloween episode, but it seems like they will definitely appreciate Halloween when it comes to AEW.
And Brandi and Cody love Halloween too, so I can definitely see them doing something fun with that. For sure.
And our Tiffany loves Halloween, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I'm ready for it. I decorate September 1st. So.
Yes. I don't.
Not this September 1st because I'll be in Chicago, but when I get home.
I will not. I am not that big of a Halloween person, but a different company that I sometimes watch introduced a character named The Fiend this week, and yeah, it's kind of awesome character. So I'm like, oh, dude! Immediately, I was like, man, there's going to be so many Fiends at Halloween this year. Yeah. But then we got Scorpio Sky, and he got asked, why am I your Anne Marie? If everyone knows Anne Marie from Twitter, she says, "Why am I your favorite fan ever?" But really, what is your number one song? And he says the number one song he's been listening to right now is "That Thing You Do" from the movie "That Thing You Do." Then he performed a little bit of it, and I love "That Thing You Do." I believe that's Tom Hanks is. Just like the manager in that movie. It's about a one-hit wonder band. And, yeah, I'm a big Tom Hanks fan, so I've pretty much seen everything. And when I say fan, I've literally seen every movie he's ever made. Even watched Bosom Buddies. That's what I'm telling you. That's, no, but, yeah, I'm big. I love Tom Hanks. Scorpio Sky is one of those people I love, but I actually hate because he seems to be good at everything that he does.
He's about perfect.
Yes, yeah. I'm telling you, it comes from a level of jealousy. I have no bones about saying that. The dude seems to be good at everything that he does. I don't know how it took him, as kind of as long as it has to be just kind of this household name as he's getting to, but that dude's super talented. Then we have Michael Nakazawa answering a question that, what would you do? What would you do? Well, do you want to tell everyone how this went down?
I was amused because they asked him if he wasn't wrestling, what he would do, and he called his wife, I think, and then
yes,
he said he liked gaming, and then he said that he would be a professional video gamer because that's what his wife liked. I don't know. He's charming and funny, and I really enjoy it.
Yes, because what was so cool about this, of course, is, I bring this up all the time, is a person that just recently got married, and you're all super in love and shit, and it's like, they've been married seemingly a while, and then in the way, what would you do? And he's like, I only started wrestling because the girl that I was into then liked wrestling, and he's like, well, let me call her and see what else she likes. And it turns out the girl that he started watching wrestling for is his wife.
That was so cool.
Yeah, it was super cool. And she's like, she likes video games, and he's like, oh, I'd be an e-gamer because he'd do anything to get her attention, which is awesome. Yeah, and then they show at Hog, and then they show some interviews of people that have went all over the country. One guy came from England to the Hog show to see the Young Bucks, and they knew him, and he had this big picture of big frame of all the pictures that he'd taken with the Young Bucks. Good Lord, I think you could probably do a quilt with all the pictures you've made. I taken with Cody, right?
I probably could do a couple of them, yeah.
But he's like, you go see a wrestler a couple times and then you enjoy it. And that's how I am. I will tell anyone, the only people that I have met more than once or twice are Cody and Becky Lynch. That's it. That's it. And Cody, I didn't meet for the first time until the BTE thing in Chicago when they flew in for that meet and greet. I actually flew in for that meet and greet. So a lot of my Cody meetups have been within the last few years. Yours stretches over his whole career, right?
They do, yeah. Back to 2009 was the first time I met him.
Oh yeah, over 10 years. Mine's like 2 or 3 years. Hers is like 10 years, and it's just so. But you see someone that loves the Young Bucks that much. I know we have a friend, I call him friend of the show, someone I've met through like BTE and being a big fan of the Bucks. His name's Owen. And Owen Reynolds, and he's on Twitter. And so he's a huge Young Bucks fan. He's traveled around. He's met them through PWG. It was his big thing, but he's flew everywhere to see him. And he seems to be, he loves the Young Bucks, And that's why I was like, I love the thing about the Elite, and why I said AEW couldn't fail is because of those type of passionate fans. It's like, they will follow them anywhere, and then they will follow everywhere. He was like, seriously, from England, flew over for a House of Glory show.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, dude, that is awesome. And then we get to see Private Party, and they're basically talking about, they want to prove they belong, and even though the Bucks hired them, they're going to bring it to them. They get invited to that private party that one night. You see the Bucks do their entrance, and everybody's going crazy. And then, of course, you see just different highlights from that. And at the end, they announce a match. October 9th, the first match on the show during the first round of the AEW Tag Team Title Tournament will be the Young Bucks versus Private Party, which is awesome because, the Young Bucks booked this shit, and they didn't even book themselves into a first round bye.
Yeah, no kidding. They could have, but nope.
Nope, they didn't even compete for the first round bye. They're just going to be in the first round against Private Party, which I think is so dope. Because I like Private Party. I like them. I really think they, you looking at that diamond in the rough. They're very talented now, but with years of working with, tag teams like the Young Bucks, SCU. People, Dark Order, they've been around forever. People that have done this forever, they will do nothing but get better. And that's all you hope to do when it comes to. But that was
going to be a great match.
That was being the Elite. That's the part we got. I'm like, like I said, I thought this was a really good episode. I even say that this was like almost a love letter to Young Bucks fans. Because they went through where they came from. They were the first Hog Tag Team Champions, and then again they had the interviews with, wrestling fans talking about their relationship with Young Bucks. So I thought that was pretty cool. Next up, we had Road to All Out Episode 5 and Road to All Out Episode 6. We're going to start with 5, which, let me tell you. Spoiler alert for you. Episode 6 of All Out was probably my favorite Road to episode ever. And it was 3 minutes, but it was like my favorite episode ever. So if we spend a tremendous amount of time talking about that one, I apologize. Well, actually, I don't apologize because I thought it was just that damn good. Yeah, I was going to say, I just thought it was that damn good. So in the Road to All Out episode 5, though, we get in a park. We get Trent and Chucky T walking towards each other in their denim suits, and we get the hug, and then the zoom out, of course, because the Okada zoom out.
Shot.
Yes, the Okada zoom out, as a lot of people like to call it. And we basically kind of get a profile on them. But apparently There is a joke that I didn't catch that Trent Beretta is really, really bad on camera. And this episode kind of it confirmed that because Chucky T did all the talking, and this is where I was talking about where this part where Orange Cassidy, where they was like, we act silly outside of the ring, and we're funny dudes, but when we get in the ring, we want to win. We're going to win. That is the purpose, is to win. And I think that, in more than anything, pretty much shouted out any comedy wrestler. I thought this was like the perfect thing that they was like, because you see they're doing this vignettes where Chucky drops his ice cream, and then Trent gives him half of his ice cream, and they're very funny. They're very funny dudes. But Trent Beretta, if you know his time in New Japan, some people might not know, he was about to be a push commodity there. Him and Rocky Romero as Roppongi Vice, they were multiple time junior tag team champions. He had got pushed up to heavyweight. He had gotten some major wins. I think he had actually beat Kenny Omega. I'm not 100% sure, so someone can tell me I'm wrong. But I think he had beat Kenny Omega. He was a push commodity, and he chose to come to AEW because the way he prefers to tell his story in wrestling is tag team wrestling, and AEW is going to put an emphasis on tag team wrestling. So, what do you think about these two as a tag team?
I enjoy them. I can't say that I am like a huge fan. I don't dislike them. I like them, but they're not like on my. If I'm making a top, 10 tag teams or whatever, they probably aren't on there. But it's not because they're not great. I've just never connected with them. But I feel like with the start of TNT, it's kind of almost a fresh slate, because we don't know how things are going to go on there, and they might grow on me. But I'm excited no less that they're in AEW, and I want to see what they do. So I'm excited to see them, and I think they're like the little vignettes they do are so charming and fun that it kind of does make people just kind of, even if you don't want to, you gotta love them. So I'm definitely interested to see more of what they do when they actually get to TV. But yeah, I mean, I actually enjoyed the little opening segment on the road to All Out with them. So there's something charming about them for sure.
Yes, and it was kind of funny. I actually saw a few things about this online where people were talking about it, because they talked about the Dark Order, and they's like, well, basically, if you want to leave, it's okay to have your little masked mans at home,
yes,
but you don't bring them to work. That's unprofessional. And they said
that was hilarious.
Yeah, and it's like they pay a guy to turn out the lights, and it was very cool because it was very them. Like, honestly, a lot of people, if they said that same thing, it would have came off kind of as they were burying them. But in this way, it was very much funny. It was very much lighthearted. And it was like at this point, so they're trying to get more out of Trent. And they's like, so you've always wanted to be a professional wrestler? And he literally looks at them and says, yes. Like, they wanted him to elaborate. Obviously, he did not. He did not. That is not his thing. He's like, I'm a wrestler, of course. That kind of thing. Then we got Alex Arvez in the AEW Control Center, and he's going through the numbers. The first number was 10. That was the amount of staples that had to be in Cody Rhodes' head, and he was still bleeding later that night. 13 should be, to a lot of people, might not be a big number, but that was the first time they tagged together, right?
Yep.
Yeah. They're Shawn Spears and Cody Rhodes back in OVW, I guess. Was it OVW?
Yep, OVW.
OVW. They were called. What was their tag team called? I actually listened to the show called Music of the Mat, and they were going back to all of Cody's theme songs. I Thought and they went back to how he was part of the Heartbreakers or something like that. I don't know. Gavin Spears. Do you know?
Yeah.
Yes. He was like a heartthrob. Then we got 184. That's the amount of times Dusty and Tully tagged up. Or wrestled. Dusty Rhodes and Tully Blanchard. I said bloody. Tully Blanchard wrestled. They did once have a first blood match, but they wrestled 184 times. If you would have asked me, I would have said it was a lot more than that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so I was wondering, is 184 like the amount of times they watched the wrestle that was televised, that was recorded, or if that's just ever? He did have a long feud with Flair, so he's probably like in the hundreds with Ric Flair, but that is a lot. And then one, that was a big number. You only can have one person in your corner. It then showed MJF. Brandi, could it be Brandi? Or Brandi was first, MJF second. Talked about Dustin, or could it be DDP? I think they did a good job of putting out all his ideas there. I will say,
Even Pharaoh.
Yes, even Pharaoh. After the next episode, there's no question who would be in my corner.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yes,
if anyone had any doubt.
Yes, there's no question. But that was the end of it. Then we had Adam Page cutting a promo on Chris Jericho, and he's like, he wants to thank you, and he's like, we should be thanking, Cody, and then he said we should be thanking the Bucks, who did some cowboy shit, and went out and started their own company, and that started a chant of cowboy shit. Now, if you saw the video early this week, I guess the people from Hog didn't like the Young Bucks and Private Party taking their main event, so they jumped them. And Adam Page came out, and how the video was clipped, and and I know you picked him, and you have an article on the Social Suplex about it, but to me, that was the first time, and this is probably the closest thing you'll get to negative a lot, that he looked like a star.
I got you, and I can respect that.
Yeah, I've been saying that. It's just like, if he's going to be the champion, he's going to wrestle Jericho. I've always felt I like Adam Page. He's really nice. I'm like, if you do get a chance to do a meet and greet, do one with him. He will joke around with you. He's very just lighthearted, least intimidating person you'll ever meet, even though he's a big old dude. But least intimidating person you'll ever meet. He's just a cool guy, but he just had that missing thing that made him a star. Some people seen it. Cody has always been behind it. I have never seen it, but when he came out there and cleaned house, and then he got the mic in his hand and he cuts that impassioned promo, I was like, okay, I kind of see it. It was like, I might have to squint a little, but I see it. And I just think if they do more of this kind of stuff in a couple weeks leading up to All Out, I will actually believe he can beat Chris Jericho. Sorry for the delay, everyone. We had to take a small break. We had some audio issues. The call dropped, but we're back. The last thing we were talking about was Hangman Page, and I said they've done a good job the last few weeks building up on Mr. Page and making him seem like a credible threat to Chris Jericho. The next part of Road to All Out Episode 5 was a promo from Kenny Omega. I'm going to actually let you take the lead on this if you don't mind. What did you think about the promo? How did you think it came off?
I thought it was great, and I thought it was unlike a typical Kenny promo, which I really enjoyed, because I feel like for the first time with this, with his match going into All Out, we really get a feel for kind of where Kenny's character's going in AEW. When he mentioned that he was supposed to be the chosen one, that really kind of hit me the most out of the whole thing. And that was kind of a moment where I was like, yeah, I like that. We needed that moment. Moxley attacked him at Double or Nothing. Now they have this match at All Out. But he attacked him and made a statement. But that was the moment when I really felt like you got a feel for what this match really means in Kenny's eyes, and it just hit me. And I thought it was a great promo, and I even tweeted how great it was. But then we'll talk about in a moment, someone else knocked it out of the park the next day, but still, it doesn't take away from how great that was. Just hearing Kenny talking, like I said, that chosen one line, that just was the part that stuck out the most to me, because it hit me at that moment where I just never even really put that out there. Not that Kenny isn't, Kenny's the best bout machine, he's the best wrestler in the world, but I mean, maybe because I have other favorites besides Kenny, and a lot of people, Kenny is their favorite. I just think, and that to me means it did its job, because it made me pause and go, God, that's so true. And here comes Moxley attacking him, and now they have this match. And it really kind of just set the whole match, made it mean more to me in my eyes. Not that it wasn't already going to be awesome, but truly made the match jump out for me when he said that.
Yes, definitely. The thing with Kenny is, I thought when they announced the company and he was one of the lead four, I pretty much thought him or Jericho was going to be the lead wrestler. That's how I saw it in my mind. It was Kenny Omega is, for a lot of us, like me, my first real New Japan show, like watching it, well, it would technically be my second New Japan, watching it all the way through, was him versus Okada, the first of their series. And that was the first match that led to me becoming a fan of New Japan Wrestling. So then I followed that story arc all the way to him becoming champion, and then the things with the Golden Lovers, which we never really got a resolution on because they went their other way. So I was like, okay, Kenny, putting him in the championship, a picture that matters. And showing how unselfish he is, because, he is one of the best wrestlers in the world. He was one of the best booked wrestlers in the world as far as wins and losses. To come in and lose pretty much his first match in his company, that shows you how unselfish he is. And it also shows you, that they're not going to be paying favorites to themselves. So I definitely like that part. But the interview in itself, it was very contrite. It was like someone that it reminded me a lot of Okada losing his confidence last year. He's coming back to trying to prove to himself that he is who he thinks he is. He is who the marquee says he is, the best bout machine, one of the best wrestlers in the world. Mr. 5-star, Kenny Omega. So I like that. I like the sense of doubt. I thought he played it well. I thought his voice dropped at the right time, and I liked how he ended it with, I'm going to bring everything I have, and I hope if you don't bring everything you have, I'm going to beat you. But if you do bring everything you have, the fans are going to freaking love it, and they're going to be the winners.
Yeah, the winners are the fans. I love that. I love that line.
I love that line because it's so true. If we get Mox, we get it's funny because you can say it. If I get G1 Mox, I'm very happy with this match, because he has absolutely killed it over the last few weeks in the G1. I think I watched 8 of his 9 matches. I think I only missed 1 of his matches, and every match was so good. He, even towards the end when he wasn't winning, it wasn't like there was, like with some wrestlers, you could see a drop in energy when they know they're not going to win, and that wasn't the case.
Not once did he lose it.
Yeah, he gave 100% effort, and it was a great show. Yeah, so it was definitely a great show. So I'm looking forward to this match. I am. It's not number 1 on my list, but it is very. I mean, Cody's match is generally going to be number 1 on my list, unless somebody's unless something special goes along. Cody's match is probably going to be number 1 on my list, but I am looking forward to this match. And that was the end of Road to All Out episode 5. Now we went to episode 6. Now this is the one I was excited about, because episode 6, I mean, when it comes to explanations, there's not a lot. It was a 3.5-minute Brandi promo straight towards Sean Spears, and I'm going to tell you, I love promos. I love them. I just think they're amazing. Of course, I'm a wrestling fan, so I love them. But when they are truly great, when they reach that extra level from a really good promo to a great promo, which is what I would rate this, or a great promo, it literally, I feel it in my skin. You know what I mean? I feel it. It builds the energy. It makes me excited to see the match. That, of course, is the goal of any promo. So Brandi Rhodes cuts this amazing, passionate. And, you know, when they say when it's promos, you're not acting. You're not a character. You're who you are. And you could tell every word that came out of her mouth, she believed. So I'm going to let you go a little bit. What did you think?
I mean, I was blown away by it. You know, I think that this was the moment where any fans who just kind of, even if they don't dislike Brandi, I mean, we know she has some people who just for some reason don't like her. But, you know, even the people who just are indifferent to her are like, hey, she's cool, but, you know, she's still Cody's wife. I think that's that moment that people realize this isn't just Cody's wife. You know, Brandi Rhodes is a legitimate, you know, person in the wrestling industry. And, you know, yes, she's a chief brand officer and she's done some awesome things. Her wrestling is just improving every time she's in the ring. But sometimes it isn't wrestling. It's that moment where you listen to somebody and you just, I mean, I went through the comments and I was reading all the comments, you know, to the replies on Twitter to either AEW's Twitter or Brandi's tweet about the episode. And just so many people were just blown away by it, and rightfully so. I mean, like you said, you know, I think one thing that AEW always preaches, and Cody has said it, you know, the wrestlers get to play their own music, which means, you know, obviously that, like you said, that was Brandi. Like, you know, whatever the story is, she pulled every bit of love she has for Cody, every bit of passion, every bit of how she would, you know, feel and how she felt because he did get busted open. She had his blood on her hands. That was real, guys. And I think that's what makes that it just was so good. And I literally like had goosebumps when I listened to it. I've watched it several times because it was just so good. I want to keep hearing it. And I mean, that was like Floyd said, almost 3.5 minutes of perfection, one take. I mean, and also like such a force to be reckoned with. You know, if you didn't take Brandi seriously before that, you do now, because the fire in her in that passion was just so relevant or apparent, I should say. And it blew me away. I mean, I love seeing so much positive feedback for it too, because she just brought it, and it was just raw and emotional and so good. I mean, I absolutely think that was, I mean, and I know I'm biased when it comes to Cody and Brandi, but one of the best promos I've ever heard, and that's saying a lot because I've been wrestling fan for 30 years, you know, so more than 30 years, but it was just that raw and that good.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say. When it comes to wrestling and promos, you know, there's pipe bombs, and AJ did her lady pipe bomb, and you know, that was really good. And honestly, I can say when it comes to promos, I don't get a lot of them, you know, a lot of them from the women's side. You know, when people are naming promos, they'll say, you know, Punk, they'll say Austin, The Rock was a great promo, Ric Flair is a great promo. I'm thinking, you know, now I'm thinking Brandi's up there. I mean,
I cannot wait to see more of her when she gets to TV and her character gets to build, because if that's any indication, which it clearly is, of what we can expect, I mean, that just took her to the next level, in my eyes.
Yeah, because, you know, this was closer to a traditional promo. You got this many minutes, deliver your message. I thought, yes, that was, and it was an A all the way. But, you see it in the vignettes when she did the ice skating thing to trick you into having compassion for her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pulled everyone right in.
Yeah, she pulled everyone in. No one called that I knew in my circle. I want to be clear. In my circle, called that she was screwing her over. No, and then Awesome Kong was going to come out.
Everybody bought right into it, and that's a huge power to have, you can convince those people. I mean, and usually there's always that fan that's like, oh, come on, that's not real. But everybody fell right into that.
Yes, everything.
Me included.
Everybody in wrestling is skeptical, of everything. Anytime anybody does anything, they're skeptical. But on that one, when Awesome Kong, they managed to have Awesome Kong come out as a surprise in 2 straight shows.
Yeah,
The same person come out as a surprise. And the second, in both times, it came from a Brandi promo. It had to do with Brandi. And I just she's coming along as a wrestler.
Like you said about her coming out as a surprise in both things and from a Brandi promo. Like the first time she fooled us because everyone thought Brandi was putting herself in the match. And then she brings her out after that emotional episode and makes everyone believe with the ice skating she doesn't believe in herself. And then once again she gets us again. And that's how good she is.
And it was the extra thing that she came out in full gear that first time. Because she was in full because she was in full wrestling gear, everyone thought she was going to wrestle. And then the second time, that promo's just to throw you off the scent. And then to bring it back, to tell the same story everybody thought she was going to tell anyway, but it still came off as a surprise. That's why I tell people, it's like when some people's booking and some people's ideas storytelling, I question everything. It's because I don't trust that it's going to be entertaining. With these guys, with her and Cody and how they entertain, sometimes it might not, that first step might not be what I want it to be, but I've learned I'm just going to wait a second and see how it plays out because they're getting more of a benefit of a doubt than anybody else. I also do this with Gato and New Japan. Sometimes, when there's a win and loss, I don't get it. So instead of jumping off the deep end and saying this is stupid, I pull an Naito. I tranquilo. Let's calm down. And I would let's see what happens. And generally, whatever he comes up with, I end up enjoying. But we live in this time when it comes to wrestling where everybody second guesses gear, booking, music. You second guess everything about the product. And just like I saw Cody post this, and I don't know how he said it, so I'm paraphrasing. Sometimes you just gotta let the artist paint and then judge. And that's what AEW's earned from me. They've earned the right to play their full song before I decide if I like it or not.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And I think, too, a lot of fans, because of the internet and just so many things, like you said, we're so skeptical. We're always looking for, what's going to happen because we don't want to look stupid if we're wrong or, if we buy into it. But she got us, man. She got us twice.
Do you not enjoy wrestling?
Promo.
Do you not enjoy wrestling more when they get you? I want to get got.
Yeah. To me, that's when I'm the biggest fan because I'm like, wait, you got me, and I've been watching for 30 plus years. So
yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's what to me it's obviously Brandi's a great example, and we're talking about that episode. But overall, that's just awesome to think what we can expect when AEW is on TV. So.
Yes, they more than often give me that 8-year-old feeling. And believe me, I love wrestling now. I am, completely talk about it and all this stuff, but I love it in an adult way. I will never love it as much as I did when I was 8. Because when I was 8, when the WCW went off at 7:05 on Saturday, if I didn't get to watch the Sunday, I was it was like I had the shakes until the next Saturday because you didn't have the internet and all that stuff to get your the extra feel of it. You thought about what you saw. Maybe with me, I'd go get my wrestling figures and it kind of reenact it or whatever. But you had to wait until next Saturday.
Yep.
So it was the anticipation. It was everything. You did everything you could to just get that scrap of extra wrestling. But now it's like, you want to watch wrestling, 4-star match, whatever. You can do it at any time. And it's just but with a Row 2 and being the Elite, they have got me back to a little bit of that 8-year-old me that is anticipating every new piece of information that I get.
That's how I feel with AEW, and it's been so long since I felt that way. So it's a good feeling to have that back, where they make an announcement of the next episode drops this date or whatever, and I'm just like counting down to it. I'm just ready.
Yes.
And I feel like it's only going to get better when we have a 2-hour TV show every Wednesday, and I'm sure we're going to get cliffhangers, and we're going to be talking a lot about what we're, predicting the next week, and that just excites me for the podcast, because I can't wait to talk to Floyd after the episode and talk about what happened, and then be like, all right, now what's going to happen? I mean, to have that excitement again and have someone to talk about it with, I'm so excited for that.
Yes, when they said that we were getting a second episode of Road 2, I was that Jonah Hill gif where he's got the hands up and he's all excited.
Yes.
That was me, and it's just like, I don't do that for a lot of wrestling. I don't do that for a lot of entertainment anymore. And it's just, that's kind of cool to be in that situation, to be in that mode right now that I'm in. It's just
it is. It feels really good and refreshing, especially since we've both been fans for so long, to be able to get that spark back. I mean, I like modern wrestling too. Like current wrestling out there, not just AEW. I watch other things and I enjoy it, but not in that way. Not where you feel that, like you said, that anticipation of being like when you're a kid. So to have that on any level back is really exciting.
All right. Well, we're just going to go on with the news. We got a few pieces of information. First, I thought this was kind of cool. Cody was responding to a Twitter user that was upset about the roster and said everybody was short. And he really didn't sound like he knew the roster very well. He was like, because he was making, like, you got Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. And I'm like, okay. I mean, they're one act, a tall guy and a small guy. I mean, I didn't get what he was saying. I was reading it, and I didn't really understand what he was saying. But and Cody was talking about the roster, and he says, we've revealed about 40% of the roster. That was the important part I wanted to take care of. Sometimes it's better to let the painter paint and then judge the picture. That was the exact statement. It was in front of me. I just didn't even see it. But the focus is the 40%. Their roster's pretty big now. So he's saying that it's going to basically double. Now, I'm guessing they want to all be contracted wrestlers. So is he actually talking about they're going to double the amount of contracted wrestlers they have? I'm just asking your opinion. This is not any insider knowledge. Or are you think he's just saying they're going to double the amount of wrestlers they have access to, as in the amount of different companies they'll be working with?
My opinion, I think Cody will sometimes kind of like Dusty, tell a tall tale. I don't know that 40% is an accurate number. I think that was Cody making a point. But I do think there's also with anything like he's talked about. I don't know if you remember when Dusty passed away, he said to watch the movie Big Fish because it reminded him of Dusty, and it's about this, father who tells these tall tales, but then they end up being true, and it's all true. So I think with Cody, I don't know that I 100% think 40% is like an accurate 100% number that he's saying, like that it'll necessarily double. I do think he's making the point that we have a lot to offer, still a lot you haven't seen. And I think it's going to be, I don't think, like you said, I think it's going to be a lot of the ones maybe who are able to work within companies and not necessarily sign solely to AEW. But I definitely think they have a lot of tricks up their sleeve. I think there's going to be, I don't have a prediction, but I think at All Out, I think we're going to have some kind of insane surprise, whether it's Punk or something none of us are thinking of. I think they are going to pull something huge at All Out that none of us are going to expect because that's their last event before TV. So I 100% think there's going to be something huge there. And obviously they're going to be saving some big surprises for TV. So I think that it's 40% might just be Cody putting out a number to make a point, but I do think he means it when he says that we have not seen all they have to offer yet as far as the roster.
Yeah, I mean, Tony Khan's been very real about the fact that the first guy he wanted was CM Punk. And if you think him wanting CM Punk has lessened over time, you're probably just fooling yourself. I mean, CM Punk would be a huge get at this point. I don't think he's coming, but hey, he would be a huge get. And, but I've also learned I don't doubt them. I don't doubt AEW. I just
no. We've talked about this on the previous one that I was with you for the podcast about what if everything, the text message thing, making the comments about it's 2019, people do deals, this and that. I mean, what if somehow they are? I mean, I'm with you. I don't think it's going to happen, but then I would be mind blown if they pulled off something like that, and all of that was leading to it and just really throwing everyone off. I mean, I wouldn't put anything past them because they're that good.
Yeah, and like I said, I truly believe Mr. Khan when he says they will work with anyone. So I think that's something that a lot of people don't take into consideration. I think AEW would gladly work with ROH. I think they would gladly work with Impact. Hell, if the WWE was willing to do 50-50 deal, I think they would be gladly work with WWE. It's just, and that's why they're unlike any other company when it comes to that. So, if you're going to see names, so you're going to be like, well, isn't he signed to Impact? Well, yeah, probably. Because they're going to have such a big roster. Not everybody's going to be able to get on TV every week. So if you could do a bit of a talent exchange, and I'm just saying this is not anything I got from anywhere, but let's say like Private Party goes and work Impact for a few months while, trying to build them up to get them back on TV or whatever. I mean, what would that hurt?
It wouldn't. And I think that's one of AEW's big things is, at least maybe not AEW, but I know the Elite is wrestling working together. That's why on the Jericho Cruise last year, it was such a big deal. It was Impact versus Ring of Honor, and something you would never thought you'd see, but this is where we're at with wrestling in this day and age, that companies can work together. I wouldn't rule out New Japan working with AEW, especially seeing Mox over there and Kenny's connection. I think there might have been some rifts here and there, but I feel like when I saw Jericho recently back in New Japan and seeing Mox, that to me just made me feel like there is a good chance that we're going to see an AEW New Japan partnership moving forward. Maybe we'll see some crossover talent, and I am all about that happening.
Yeah, me too. I think I would love to see a lot of different things happen there. I think there's matchups that you haven't even thought of that could come to fruition, like people that you wouldn't think could work with AEW that are going to work with them. I am very excited. Like, if I could pick anybody, I've always said right now, I pick one guy to be in the company, it would be Killer Cross. I just dig his gimmick or whatever. And I'm hoping that happens sooner rather than later. So, but we got some match announcements this week.
We did.
Like, quite a few. I mean, they are starting to build. So, let's see. This is the Philadelphia show. The Philadelphia show, October 16th. We're going to have the first defense of the AEW World Championship and the first defense of the AEW Women's World Championship. The Women's World Championship is very interesting because it's going to be decided on October 2nd, the Women's Champions. So 2 weeks after the Women's Champion wins, she will be defending for the first time. And then that looks like, and then of course it'll be the first defense of the men's title that same night. Man, how excited are you for that?
That's huge. That is huge. You have your two top titles being defended on TV, and that's, I mean, I don't even, there's so much that's going to happen between now and then. It's almost kind of mind-blowing because you're going to crown your champion and decide your next, your first number one contenders for it. So how we're going to get there, I don't know, but that's a lot to take in, thinking, that's just within the first month of TV.
Yeah, we're going to have 2 full shows, and I imagine they announced this stuff to boost ticket sales. I don't know if they even needed to. I think that name AEW sells it.
They probably didn't.
Yes, the name AEW sells tickets, but I'm very excited. I'm very excited on who the champion's going to be. Tiffany, and I brought this up, but I'm going to say it again. Go to socialsuplex.com and check out Tiffany's article on why it should be Hangman. or you can go to her Twitter at All Elite Tiffany, and she's linked that article a few times on her page, and you can check why she thinks it should be Hangman. And that's the women's title. Again, I'm very excited about the Battle Royal. I thought that was needed. And then today they added another women's match to All Out. It's going to be Rio.
I'm so excited for it.
versus Hikaru Shida. So do you? I mean, if you're going logic, it'll be whoever wins this match is going to be the other contender, right? Or
I feel like it has to be. I feel like they're treating the women's title very similarly to how they decided the men's, and I love that because it should be equal. I'm so glad, like we've mentioned, that the Casino Battle Royale returned, and it's the women this time. I'm so excited for that. I think that's going to be just awesome, and the surprises, there's going to be a lot of surprises. I think Brandi's going to somehow wind up with the Joker, but, I can't imagine how. She could never possibly find a way to get that, but I don't know. Something tells me she's going to get it. But, yeah, I feel like that person will face the winner of the Rio match against Shida, and I feel like I don't even know who's going to win the Casino Battle Royale, but I feel like you said, logic would say that that's how they're going to put up the match that's going to be on the first TV.
Yes, and that just, because it was funny, because somebody had hit Cody up and was like, it doesn't seem like we have enough matches. When are you going to announce the next match? And he's like, shh, tomorrow. And then they did it.
Yep. Yeah. Cody, once again, he had to mention it because he gets too excited. He can't keep his mouth shut.
Yes.
So we love him for it.
Yes, well, I'm very excited about this match, and honestly, the only time I've seen Hikaru Shida is when she's worked for AEW, and that's the same way for Rio. I was impressed both times. I am loving that there's a featured singles match on the show. That is big for me.
We discussed how we wanted to see that. So I'm so excited about that, too.
Yes.
And it's a potential show stealer. I mean, I know that there are a lot of matches that, every time you think of a match on that card, you're like, whoa, that could steal the show. But this one is just as capable of it. And I think it is going to absolutely blow everyone away. I think as AEW's popularity grows and you see the TNT commercials, I've seen a commercial on TNT for All Out. People who have never seen these ladies wrestle are going to see them wrestle for the first time. And I think they're going to be like, whoa, wait, not to knock any other women's wrestling, because there's a lot of great women's wrestling, especially now, but it's something that they've never seen before, and I think it's really going to take on a new fan base of people that are just so blown away by what these girls can do.
Yes, that style, the women's wrestling in Japan, is just not something that a lot of Americans have seen. We know a lot of, the hardcore wrestling fans that are subscribers to Stardom World and things like that. But, you've seen Asuka, you've seen Io Shirai, you've seen all those people that came from Japan. They do get a bit of a watered-down version of what they do in Japan. And it's like AEW's kind of letting them present it the way they normally do. So I think...
Yep, play their own music.
Yeah, so we'll be able to see exactly almost like an unfiltered version of what they're doing. So I'm very excited to see how that...
without any other style mixed in. That's what I think we both said, that one-on-one match. We've been longing for it, and I'm so excited for it.
Yes. Then the last match announcement we have is going along with Private Party and the Young Bucks in that first match on October 9th. Also October 9th in Boston, it is the 10 guy, a.k.a. Sean Spears versus Jon Moxley. And depending on the results of their matches at All Out, you gotta say this could end up being like deciding that number one contender for the 16th.
Yep, I was having that same thought. It's very possible. That match kind of surprised me, to be honest. One thing with someone I've seen people mention, they're like, man, talk about long-term booking, and no kidding, they're definitely setting the stage, and they're so well with that, setting things up and everything coming together and long-term and just continuity. But with that match, that's a huge match. It's going to be great. And like you said, there could end up being a lot more at stake with this match than what we realize right now.
Yes, because they both could be coming off of losses. They both could be coming off wins. One could be coming off a win, and the other could be coming off a loss. Either way around, and so it could. There's a lot of ways that can go. I'm very excited because I like that Spears is getting featured. As a NXT fan, I love NXT. When he started doing the Perfect 10 gimmick, I was watching NXT, and it was like he was one of those people that you always thought were more talented than he was booked. Then I was in San Antonio at the Royal Rumble when he debuted on the main roster. That re-debut when he came out at 10, and actually that was one of me and my wife's first wrestling shows together. That was actually her first actual full WWE wrestling show. Was that show that Sean Spears came out at 10, and it was crazy how loud it was when he came out. It was like, and then the referee, when he would count, he would get confused and get lost because instead of doing 1 or 2, they would just do 10, 10, 10. And I remember the referee getting lost like twice because the whole crowd was yelling 10 and he forgot what number he was on. So he was over. He was over.
Yeah.
He was over.
People have wanted to cheer him or just see him for a long, long, long time. So it's great to see him featured. It's about time.
Yeah, it's like, people call them WWE rejects. I'm like, maybe they're misused talent. How about thinking about it that way instead of rejects? Just,
Yeah,
maybe.
to me, yeah. I mean, if you want to talk about somebody who, are you calling Cody that? Because I'm pretty sure no one's calling Cody that.
Yes,
so
yeah.
Maybe they should think twice before they use that term.
And as I've stated, and I said this with Amy, it is impossible. WWE was the only product for so long. It's impossible to not have some tie with the WWE at some point. I mean, now that's not going to actually have to be the case. But before that was the case, Even
Right.
even MJF, I don't know if you saw the thing where he played like a security guard in the background of a wrestling show.
Yeah, and when they're in town, local indie wrestlers there'll be security or there'll be this or that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, in some way, shape, or form, so many of them have probably been there even just for one night. So
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, you're catching somebody at some point. If you're worth anything, you done caught a check from the WWE. I'm just saying. That's how it is. So I'm looking forward to those matches. So we got some set up for we got 2 matches for the 9th, 2 matches for the 16th. The second we got the 6-man tag, and we got the women's title being decided on the 2nd. It's just like we're loaded with matches for TV. They're built in advance, but they're done in a way where it's not really giving you anything. It's not, it's not spoiling anything. It's like, yeah, Mark.
Now, do you think we're going to get a road to whatever the show title ends up being on TNT to lead us to that first?
I do think we'll get it, but I think it'll be 3 to 5 minutes, Maybe I think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think it maybe instead of getting Road 2s, or it'll be Road 2, it'll be like the AEW Control Center talking about what happened on Wednesday, setting up for what next going to happen on the next Wednesday. I think that's why they're
just from All Out to the first TV. I mean.
Oh, definitely. I think that's going to be.
Yeah.
I think those are going to be fun shows. Those are going to be fun shows.
Got to set that up. Okay, I'm just excited for that. Thinking about that. I'm like, I know we don't have a pay-per-view, but we will have, the first TV, so we've got to get a series for that, right?
Yeah, it's like a full 4 weeks before.
Yeah, I think we'll have the Control Center stuff too with Alex, which I really enjoy him doing.
Yes, I definitely enjoy it. I think that's. I mean, his commentating's coming along, but I think that's where he's got that legit sports background. He treats it seriously.
He sells the most there.
Yeah. It's like he's like the Sports Center guy for AEW. So that works. That definitely works for him. But let's see. Am I missing anything? Did we get everything?
There's been a lot. I
Yes.
we may have got it all.
Yes. Yeah, they're gonna. We've said it before. Just gonna wrap it up. They're announcing the next two cities Monday. On first, they'll be announced on BTE, but then AEW will announce it told to everybody at 11 a.m. Central, 12 noon or noon Eastern. So we're looking forward to that. I imagine we're gonna get, of course, another Road 2 show. And and over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be talking about what we're going to be doing at StarCast. So I'm looking forward to talking about that also. Anything else left from you?
Lots of good stuff coming up.
Yes, let's say, you're going to have plenty of content from us. Anything else left from you, Tiffany?
I think we've covered it all. Just once again, if you haven't, for some reason, if you've lived under a rock since yesterday and missed Brandi's promo, the Road to All Out episode 6, go watch it. You won't regret it. That girl nailed it. Let me tell you, it was so good.
Dude, I think I've watched it every day since it came out yesterday. I watched it, and then I watched it again right after, and then I've watched it like twice today. It's just,
I know.
it was a home run. And it was like, and I will tell anybody, I'm a big Cody fan. I'm not really obsessed with Brandi like that. I mean, I like Brandi. I love Cody, like Brandi.
That's what's great, because
but
coming from you, it's more,
yeah.
that almost means more, because I'm, like I said, I know I'm biased, but I mean, I also call it like I see it. But when you're not like, hardcore Brandi fan, then, and you're talking about it like this, to me, that just means more.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I don't take me. I love Cody. And it's like, I love Cody. And Brandi's his wife, and she amazes me. I'm in awe of all the things that she's talented at. But yesterday, I wasn't even expecting it. Didn't know what to expect in the episode 6. And she came in and home run promo. I don't think anybody can say anything bad about it. And if you do, I'm literally just going to call you a hater. I know it's different strokes for different folks, but that it hit every tone it was supposed to. And I just thought I thought how her expressions, everything, it made me scared of her. We have a meet and greet with her Thursday before All Out, and I plan to tell you, when you cut that promo, I was frightened. I was like, dude, I was scared for Sean Spears' life in that moment. Because it just came across that way. So, for Tiffany, remember to follow us on at AT Elite Pod on Twitter. And then it's at excuse me. I get tongue-tied on it because it's at a couple times in a row, and it's really hard to say. Then it's all things elite pod at gmail.com. So that's at AT Elite Pod on Twitter, and all things elite pod on Gmail. Hit us up. Let us know what you think of the show. Share it with your friends. We do this for passion, but we like people, to hear what we got to say. So for Tiffany, this is Floyd saying, whether it's homework or school, always do your best to be elite.